All right, guys, good afternoon and welcome on back. Continuing along our Thursday. It's been a quite busy day here in Cyber Trading University. We just finished up 2 events just before. Great to see everybody, though. Let's get a quick chat back just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. That goes across the board for all of us here live in our trading room, of course, for all of us on social. Great to see everybody. Dennis, Jim, Gregory, all good from him. Love to hear that. Gene, Kathy, great to see you as always. William, Ron, Norm, everybody waking on up here. Perfect. I say waking on up because, well, to be transparent, I mean, we've had a very active day, but things have been a bit slow just before. So what we'll do, we have this WTRH trade. I'll come back to this. That one's pretty interesting right now. Of course, we ended up seeing a huge gap down overnight going into the market open, and it only continued to get worse. So we ended up seeing a very clean, steady drop-off within the Dow, within the S&P. All of these stocks that we've been calling out, following up recently on, they've been moving with the market. Well, what I'm referring to is that just across the last hour, markets have been a little range bound. Dow finally breaking lower as we speak. So with that, we were actually just looking at this one stock, NCLH, one of my favorites. And finally, this thing is making the drop off that I was hoping for. It was only a matter of time, it seemed like here. So going into the afternoon, guys, it's going to be very chaotic, very wild. I would not expect the markets to just flatten out like they have been across the last, 45 or so minutes. It's either going to make a very sharp drop, very sharp recovery, bounce back up perhaps. Either way, it's going to make for some very exciting moves going into the close. So what we'll do is right away actually just go through a couple of these here side list stocks. That is, the NCLH trade, we were talking about this all throughout pre-market, guys. Leading into the open, of course, we ended up seeing the big drop off alongside everything else. But given the fact that this is beginning to pull back a little bit more, I wouldn't mind putting this just on the side for right now. Certainly wouldn't be surprised if NCLH, some of the other cruise lines, airlines, gaming stocks end up making the final watch list going into the close here. All right. So NCLH will come back to RCL, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines here. This one's dropping off a little bit steadier at this point right now. Airlines dropped off, of course, earlier. UAL pulling back down here for right now, down towards 34. Delta looking a little choppy, a little slow, but, kind of following suit there. How about Save, Spirit Airlines? That one ended up making a nice pop at the open, but then pulled back with everything else. And for right now, I'll put this just in line with all the other airlines. We'll come back to all these guys at the end. I do like the... which one was it? I think it was the RCL, the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, albeit a little bit pricier, but this one's making a little bit sharper of a drop right now. So we'll come back to all of these in a moment. I had the WTRH trade just up a moment ago. I called this out within the last 5 or so minutes in our trading room. What I was looking for on this trade, guys, just within the last few minutes, like I had said, is a matter of seeing this break through a major resistance. We ended up seeing this WTRH trade just bust early in the pre-market, meaning that, or early at the market open, meaning it pulled back. It wasn't a good short opportunity. We weren't able to short, and really hasn't provided much opportunity across the day up until right now. So the WTRH trade, for what it's worth, ended up making a nice little pop just now. I just took a scratch trade on this. I was in from 231. I had an order set, and I just closed literally as we speak. There is currently a 26,000 share order on the ask. He just popped up right at 235. I see that from my book map, my level 4. You guys on my screen here could see about 9,400 shares at 235. As of right now, I still happen to see a total of 21,466 shares, and it just popped up. Doesn't lead me to think it's going to continue pushing up just yet. All right, so that was live. I started off with WTRH just once I started this meeting with you guys here. I told you I was going to come back to this, and as we speak, there's a big iceberg order just now at the highs, 235. So we're probably going to stay away from this. I was thinking that we would put this on our list at this point, but I don't think so now. All right, so that takes us to WAFU, I guess we'll call this. I mean, it literally is pronounced WAFU, the company, educational group, ended up making a huge pop, of course, in the pre-market. Another one that was up, 400, 500%. It's not too often that we see those guys, stocks that are making 400-500% moves, but it's been a pretty common theme this week. It doesn't always mean they're going to continue, though. So we ended up seeing the WAFU trade pull back at the market open as expected for a lot of these high flyers. And then eventually this ended up making a nice breakout. So a few of us, myself, Ben, Andrea, you guys were calling this out around the 10 level. It was only a matter of time. So it was holding under 10, what seems to be like 1020-ish, 1025. And eventually, when this started to peak up after failing to break lower, it made the huge breakout that we were hoping for. You could see right here on the chart, guys, it got halted at least once. 1024 reopened up a bit lower, but then popped afterwards and was pretty choppy. So, yeah, I mean, for right now, this Wafu trade, it's just going nowhere. I mean, given the range, this stock can make a 30-cent move, 50-cent move, like really at any point, but it's really range bound right now. So I'm going to pass on putting this on our main list going into the afternoon. All right. I wouldn't be surprised given how much this ran up in pre-market, and although it dumped off completely today and still might look to do that going into the close, don't write this off just yet, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if next week at some point early on, we end up seeing this make, a new move back up perhaps. All right, so we'll keep it pushing down the gainers list while we're at it, guys. Wins. I mean, this is one from yesterday, made a crazy run up, pulled back pretty sharply, and then again today, it just, opened up a little bit lower, but took off just all over the place, this stock. Wins Finance Holdings. I don't really know much about the company, but just given the lack of volume on the order book, guys, I'm going to pass. That's what it's all about, guys. Keep in mind, we tend to try and focus on stocks within a reasonable price range, but it's not even the price that, it makes the decision whether or not we focus on a trade or not. It's simply the visibility that we see on the order book. If we don't see clear, identifiable support resistance, then you probably shouldn't trade it. If you're confused about why you're seeing maybe, I don't know, like noise on the ECN book, like noise on the book viewer, or I don't know, even on Bookmap, it's not about the price, it's about the visibility. So if you can't see, or if you're having a hard time identifying where we have big support resistance, just move on. It's as simple as that, guys. All right, so that wins trade is a perfect representation of that. This CLDX trade, let's take some time to recap this one while we're at it. So obviously CLDX, I mean, pretty much the star of the day, whereas the markets were crashing and burning, we ended up seeing this CLDX trade just go against the grain completely. So we were watching this shortly after the open. We were calling this out more so going into the mid to late morning, ended up peaking up over 5, but we took our eyes off it for a bit. The volume died off rather fast, and well, eventually this ended up making a nice squeeze back up. So for what it's worth, the CLDX trade ended up making a new high as it approached resistance off of 6. And it took a second attempt, as you guys could see here. It made a pop and drop at first from 6, held under the level, and then only a matter of moments later, rebroke above major resistance. From that point, ended up making this exponential run up. So CLDX continued from yesterday, whereas I wouldn't really expect to see such a beautiful run that much more compared to what we had even from yesterday. We've seen it happen, just not that often, right? The last stock that we kind of saw this happen with day over day moves like this, well, Craig just posted a very nice trade on Genus in the trading room here, GNUS, popping up a little bit now. For as much as this stock ran, well, you ended up seeing what happened the following day, right? I mean, it gapped up much higher, but we saw a huge dump off, right? So CLDX here to go back to. For as much as this ran up, we're seeing the profits being taken, guys. So this drop off right now is not surprising whatsoever. I will put this on our list for right now in hopes of a potential pop, a potential breakout higher. Again, it's possible. I just don't think it's as likely. So, we'll put this on our list for the meantime. Maybe it'll be near the middle, maybe near the bottom of our list going into the close. Looks like UVXY VIX ETF ended up just making a new high of the day. I just got pinged from Benzinga Pro, which means the markets are still falling, guys, or they should be. So UVXY, easy for me to just put this on our watch list given this perfect trend up. So we'll focus on the VIX symbols here, guys, the ETFs. And then alongside that, alongside UVXY, there's also SQQQ, inverse NASDAQ 100 ETF, much cheaper on the way up to 9. So in particular, UVXY, SQQQ. There are others, like Patrick is calling out here in the chat board, SPXS. Yeah, same move. Same, pretty much same move, right? both pretty much around the same price, so I like this one as well. You could say the same for a lot of these guys. Vixie, $31, making the same exact type of move. I know that Ben and Jerry, you guys have been trading, and John D, I saw it before too. John D picked up like 50 or 60 cents. We ended up doing well on this VXX symbol as well, so I'll put VIX entirely on the list, guys. Myself, at least, I'm going to be more focused on the cheaper ones and also UVXY, I think. That's just preference. That's all. But VIX symbols entirely we'll put on our list. And when I say VIX, again, I'm referring to just the inverse ETF. So I know that SQQQ is not VIX. It's obviously QQQ. I'm referring to just an inverse symbol that, moves against the market. All right, so what else do we have here, guys? Let's see. HHT, Cheapy, ended up making a huge pop yesterday, ran up very nice, or 2 days ago, ended up running up in pre-market, this one. Popped early on, popped at the open, hit 140, slammed right back down, and that was it. So this is exactly the type of stock that you would see trade lower going into the close at this point. Whereas this LLIT hopefully does the complete opposite. LLIT is not an inverse symbol, guys. It's not SQQQ, but it's moving completely against the grain right now. What is this? Daher Medical Systems. That's the name of the company. Probably butchered that name, but LLIT, it's a cheapie. It's at the highs of the day right now. So yeah, I mean, this could be pretty interesting at least. Seems like a new IPO. Either that or maybe it's just recently listed on the NASDAQ dating back to early 2020. I think that's the case. I'll check up on this after. So for right now, LLIT, I'll put on our watch list. All right, so what we'll do, let me just get the price going here now. We'll skim through. I don't really want to see too many cheapies or anything really not worth our time. Naked ended up making a big pop shortly after the open today. This was a stock back from Tuesday. We ended up doing very well on this Naked trade. What goes up came back down. What goes back down, well, hopefully comes back up. And we ended up seeing that at the open today. Naked made a nice pop, and here it is, of course, right now, making a second little move. I'll come back to this. I wouldn't mind putting this on our list. I'd like to just go through everything else first across the percent gainers list, the percent losers list. NCLH, guys, I'm going to put on our watch list now at this point. I mean, really just since the time I went over NCLH and moved away from it, the markets were breaking lower. NCLH made a 40-cent drop off. I think going to cover my short right here at 17.14 just to take the money. I've been in this trade from 17.50. Referring to Norwegian Cruise Lines right now. So actually, I'll turn the screen over here. I really want to see 17 get tested. I think I'm going to hang on to this trade. I'll set a stop. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'll get out now. I don't want this to run up on me 30 cents if the markets make a small dead cat bounce. I don't want this thing. I was going to set a stop at 27.20. Thinking about it just to set it a little bit higher from this consolidation range, but it's making a little sharp of a move up right now. So I just took my profits at 17.17 here, or 17.16, and I'll look to see if this could eventually move lower for right now. We're still going to put this on our list, though, the NCLH. All right, what else do we have here, guys? We'll come back to the NCLH. Again, it's already on the list, but we'll see what else is out there. Getting pinged right now, guys, really quick. I'm going to jump over to this one before it ends up moving any higher. This one just popped. TNXP, cheapy. A lot of volume just came into this trade, though. So certainly for now, we're going to put this on our list. Hopefully it doesn't just bust out and just pull back and volume dies off. But given the volume filled just within the last 3-4 minutes, nice pop so far. CHK, yeah, no. All right, well, I'll tell you, there's a reason why we're not finding much on the gainers side, guys. There's a lot of stocks down big, so I always want to start with the gainers, of course, but we'll hop over to the losers list here. JFIN, nope, not even considering. I wanted to just put it up here just to show you guys what happens when we end up seeing a stock make a total pump and dump. And I'll tell you, I thought that this would dump off a lot earlier than it did yesterday. It ended up making a move from like 15 to 30 almost at that time. Ended up coming back down though, right? So we ended up seeing this pull back, closed lower than it had opened up even. And for what it's worth, it totally dumped off again today. I wouldn't be surprised eventually if this makes some sort of wacky pop tomorrow or next week, but definitely not now, at least for the meantime. All right, guys, that TNXP trade's just moving up still at this point. Top over the loser side, like I had said. The JFIN we already covered. Groupon. Wow. So I had to have missed out on this. There's a reason Groupon's down so much right now, guys, and it's not just because the market's down. My clear guess on this, because I really don't know, is that this just had a reverse split to Groupon. I mean, it had to, because it was like a $4 symbol, a little while back. Looking on Benzinga Pro for Groupon, GRPN. They don't list anything. Benzinga Pro doesn't list anything for Groupon. So, guys, let me know in the chat board if you guys see anything on Groupon, any news on that. I mean, my answer is that it's likely had split, ended up dumping off early on here, and it's still kind of near the lows. The fact that this is shortable is piquing my interest more than anything. Seeing this kind of bottom or top off around $20.90. It's pretty flat right now at $20.50. It's a really strong support, and it is shortable. So, this Groupon trade, it's not going to make the top of the list, but certainly will make the cut for right now. All right, let's see, guys. What else do we have? The INUV trade, shorty or shortable. It's a cheapie. I'm mixed up. Shortable and cheapie in one word. Ended up pulling back here at the open, and although it's shortable, it's a little too close to the ground floor, as I like to say. Man, everything else is hard to borrow otherwise on this losers list. Like everything else almost. ETFs, TNA, of course, TZA, TNA dropping off. This one, at least TNA, bullish ETF. So that one is shortable. So I can kind of just put that in line with the other ETFs. Pat, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Pat L in our chat board just wrote to us about Groupon. He says, Groupon Inc. announced today, as I was right, they approved a reverse stock split. It was 1 for 20. That makes sense. Oh, it's 2 days ago, Pat. All right, so maybe that's why I didn't find it on Benzinga. I was looking at today. Goes to show that we don't really tend to trade Groupon as much every day. But, hey, when we see news come out, or if we see a lot of, action on the stock, if it's up big, down big, we look into it. So for right now, this stock is still kind of holding over $20.50. I think it's a good setup for right now, guys. All right. Now, Ben just posted in the chat board, which I was literally just about to turn to. I just got the alert from Benzinga Pro on this ALT. ALT just made a new pop. I don't know if this is halted. Nope, it's not. I was going to say it looked frozen. Don't get me wrong, guys. A lot of volume just got filled on this trade, but I want to see continuation here. If this could break high of the day, then I think that this can just fly. So I'll put this on our list, the ALT. For right now, it's actually going to be near the bottom of this list. I just hope that this isn't a total, random volume pop and then back down and, just leaving a lot of us sucked into the trade here. So it seems like this is still trying to push up. Not much really on the order book. This ALT had a big iceberg. If I could load my time and sales right here, 640. $6.40. I mean, it popped right from that price, but we had a resistance there, ended up making a big move up so far. Hopefully we see a lot more left on this trade. All right, so you know what? We'll come back to the, or we'll go back to the side list stocks while we're at it now. NCLH, we're going to keep on our list, guys. I told you I got out of that trade short at 17.16. It's squeezing up to 17.33 now. So just a very active stock. I mean, you could say the same for RCL, albeit a bit more expensive, but RCL is moving just as much as NCLH. Otherwise, the airlines, AAL seems a little slow, not to say choppy, but kind of slow right now. I'd rather focus on a more volatile airline like UAL, if anything. I think UAL has a really nice chart looking at this bottom here around 33.90. Kind of talking myself into putting UAL on the watch list in particular. All right, what else do we have here, guys? Let me know if there's any other stocks that you would want me to call out, anything that I missed, anything that's popping now otherwise, or dropping. Take a look on Zoom ZM. Obviously, with the market pulling back, I didn't expect this to continue popping and breaking all-time highs. So Zoom's dumping off pretty quickly here. So if you've been following Zoom, maybe a stock to keep on, your side list. Jose just picked up. I need new contact prescription, guys. I swear, I joke around that, but pretty true. Jose picked up $1 on TVIX, TVIX, VIX symbol. Holy smokes. Ben, when are we getting 1,000 again on this TVIX trade? Obviously, at the peak of the dump off within the markets, this TVIX trade like exploded all the way up to a clean 1,000. Ben picking off Zillow. Ooh, new low. I mean, I like it. Is that a support? You would assume to be support off of 56, although not much volume filled on the big block time in sales here. But Ben just closed out a 45-cent short. He was in on Zillow Z here. It's a good setup. It's not down a whole lot, but it's down enough for me to consider it. It is shortable. It's right off the lows right now. So I feel like if we keep going in this route, guys, we're going to have a 30 stock watch list. But for right now, Zoom or Z, I should say, we'll put on our list. Oh, Pat, there we go, man. ALT, there's our continuation. We were hoping for that. All right, this might get halted now coming up, guys. All right, what else do we have here, guys? Anything else? I'll run a quick scan. Otherwise, I'll check in on social media, Facebook, YouTube. You guys let me know otherwise, too. Ben picked up 36 cents. He was in from the 660 level, so just bought once it ended up popping higher from there. My NCLH is coming down hard right now, guys, so I'm happy with my decision to get out, but you know what? Let's finish this meeting up for the meantime because we got some trading to do right now. NCLH on the way down to major support at 17. I guess before I finish up, rather, let's just go to naked NAKD. I told you I'd come back to that. We saw this move up to 135, pulled back quite a bit. Yeah, for right now, I'm going to keep this off the list. It made a nice little move earlier today. I wouldn't expect it to make a second big move right now. All right, guys, so going into the close, we have kind of a weird answer of stocks going into the close, not in terms of stocks themselves, but the number. Let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 total equities on our list. And then keep in mind, we have a bunch of ETFs, SQQQ, TVIX, UVXY, VXX, SPXS. That was the other one that Pat, I think, mentioned in the chat board. All right, guys. So, a big list, a lot of variety going into the close. Last thing before we finish up, guys, because we were talking about this earlier, at least a few of us in the trading room, want to check in on the Dow quickly. The Dow is down almost 7%, guys. Almost 7%. I'm very emphatic about that, and I emphasize that for a reason. Because when we typically see major indices fall lower than 7% across one day, we see an entire halt within the stock market, guys. So we, of course, experienced this in the very beginning of the recession, the short-lived recession. We ended up seeing, I think it was 2 days or 3 days even in particular. I think it was more here where we ended up seeing the market get halted, and that happened more so right after the market opened, meaning that the futures were down so much, they were suspended, and as soon as the market opened up, we ended up seeing the markets fall off so much, they got halted at that point. So if we happen to see a circuit breaker, meaning a halt within the market, I think it's a 15-minute freeze up. All right, guys, so just keep that in mind, keep that in the back of your head. If we happen to see the S&P, if we happen to see the NASDAQ, the Dow collectively fall 7%, at this point or going into the afternoon, we're going to see the markets halt. So just be on the lookout for that, guys. Aside from that, though, let's try and close out this day just as well as we'd opened it up. We did very nicely this morning, although the markets were dropping off. So let's keep the momentum going, guys, to the final hour here. For anybody streaming on social media, keep in mind that we do these morning and afternoon audio broadcasts every day right here in our live trading room. If you'd like to learn more about what we offer here at Cyber Trading University, I think one of those banners at the bottom got deleted. I got to post the phone number here in the chat board now. Make sure that you guys call the phone number down below in the chat board, 516-280-5350. Once again, 516-280-5350. One of our education advisors will pick up and provide more detail. All right, guys. So like I'd said, let's try and work together, make some money going into the end of this Thursday. Take care.